Joining me now is Russ Vought, who's the former OMB director under President Trump and president of the Center for Renewing America, and Molly Hemingway, editor-in-chief of The Federalist and Fox News contributor. Molly, I think we're beginning to see a change here in I like to call it the normalcy coalition, the real normal, not the new normal, but the real normal. They realize they have a lot of power. There's a lot of them out there, and they're beginning to exercise it.
Yeah, I think for the longest time, people just thought they didn't want to be involved in politics. They just stayed neutral as these corporations adopted Democrat messaging and far-left messaging, and they just kind of took it. Now they understand they can pick some battles and actually win them. And winning them makes them more eager to do it again and again. Corporations would be wise to restrain themselves when they get the pressure from these left-wing advocacy organizations, because you never know when the thing is going to be that actually destroys your entire company.
And Russ, another person who's been very effective, and I think in resisting what's being done, especially to our military, is Tommy Tuberville, Senator Tuberville, who's been vilified for using his constitutional authority to stop these promotions and these nominations from going forward as long as money, our tax dollars, are being used for abortion, transportation, et cetera, other costs. Your reaction to that?
He's been incredibly effective, and he has been vilified, but the military established. Notice it's not just the Biden administration, it's also the military that is supposedly anti-political, and they are the ones that are doing the politicization of it. And I think it's not just that he has said, look, we're not going to go forward with these nominations, but it's on an expedited basis. He's not saying that they can't get a vote. This administration wants them to all be done by unanimous consent, so we don't have a debate about whether a brigadier general says that the most important accomplishment in his military career is setting up a DEI office. That's the kind of person that we're up against with regard to these generals.
Molly, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries responded to all the hullabaloo about the National Defense Authorization Act. Watch this.
Republicans take a bipartisan piece of legislation like the National Defense Authorization Act, attack reproductive freedom, attack the LGBTQ community, and undermine our national security and the ability of our military to recruit from every corner of America.
Molly.
I mean, he's just factually not accurate here. It is the Biden administration that inserted politics into this by responding to the Dobbs decision, by breaking all precedent and norm and rules on these things, and inserting abortion and radical trans issues into the military thing, which should be like something that they don't do if for no other reason than it allows like broad bipartisan votes. But it is really appalling how our military and the political leadership that supports them is saying that, like, we don't need to know how to win wars and exit wars. We just want to use this military to push a radical agenda that is not supported. You know, these are not popular things with the American people. Taxpayer funding of abortion, radical trans pushing in the military. What our Americans want is a military that is capable, cohesive, and able to fight and win wars. And it seems very few people in D.C., in the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, and, you know, the permanent D.C. caucus really care about this.
Russ, I think the Pentagon is much more comfortable talking about trans issues and Pride Month than they are about the sputtering of the spring offensive, summer offensive in Ukraine, which, you know, we're going to get into later, but apparently isn't going so swimmingly.
Yeah, or that we don't have enough attack submarines. I mean, they never want to talk about actual military readiness or what it's going to take to confront China. They want to talk about what it takes to set up a DEI office. They want to talk about what's necessary to attract people who are desperate to have an abortion, and therefore our readiness depends on people's quote-unquote reproductive health. That is what is problematic about our military caste system.
Molly, this is a hearing with RFK Jr. We're going to spend some time on it in the show tonight because it was stunning. He, along with the whistleblowers yesterday, he just exposed the Democrats. Now, there was a moment with Representative Plaskett at this hearing today. Watch this.
They want to force social media companies to promote conspiracy theories. They want to bully the experts into abandoning their work on disinformation to pave the way. They want to give expression to the most vile sorts of speech here in this committee room because it prepares the ground for their own conspiracy theories and pseudoscience.
How is that? How is it pseudoscience?
Well, there are two major problems with what she's saying here, too. One, Silicon Valley is not run by Republicans. It's actually run by left-wingers who are trying to censor all sorts of information. They censor everything that affects our elections, and they do it in a way that systematically advantages the Democrat Party. But there's also just this basic American thing. We have a marketplace of ideas precisely so we can come to the truth. That does not mean that every idea that's expressed in the marketplace of ideas is going to be correct or accurate, but the reason why you allow that to happen is because we don't want to live in a totalitarian system, and that's basically what she's advocating right now.
That's apparently what they all want up there. All the Democrats want it. That's what it sounded like to me. We're going to get into more of this in a bit. Ross and Molly, thank you both.
Thank you.